In the past months, we've seen and heard a lot about the upcoming General Data Protection Regulation, or in short, the GDPR. However, the information that many of our clients and other event organizers are missing is: how does it affect me as a meeting planner? And what steps do I have to take? The GDPR comes into place wherever you deal with personal information of your attendees. For example, during the registration process, or when sending your attendee list to a business partner. It requires event planners to have data security built into all processes from the very start. This particularly applies to event apps, as they gather and manage personal data of attendees throughout the whole event lifecycle. Event apps are used at nearly 70% of events today to network, communicate, and interact. Each of those interactions may collect personal data of your attendees, and they trust you to handle their data with care. We at Conference Compass made it our responsibility to not only make all our apps and services GDPR compliant, but also to inform our clients about the upcoming changes, so that they feel confident about the future. That is why in this video I will explain how the GDPR will affect your mobile event app. The General Data Protection Regulation. The GDPR is the most important change in data privacy regulations in the last 20 years. It replaces the Data Protection Directive, which was published in 1995. Back then, only 0.4% of the world population had access to the internet. Today, 4 billion people use the internet, and more people have access to a mobile phone than to running water. It was about time to update the directive. The GDPR regulates the collection, use, and transfer of personal data and applies to all companies residing within the EU or dealing with EU citizens. While the new regulations were adopted back in April 2016, the GDPR comes into full force starting May 25, 2018. Not complying with those rules in time can have severe consequences. If an organization is charged with the breach of the GDPR, they can potentially be fined up to 4% of their annual global turnover, or 20 million euros, whichever is higher. Yes, you heard right. Not lower, higher. However, time will show how strict the prosecution of those breaches will be. GDPR keywords. First, let's clarify 3 terms that are often used when talking GDPR. Personal data. The GDPR is all about the protection of personal data, not companies' data. Personal data is any information that can be used to identify an individual. Identifiers can be names, telephone numbers, email addresses, pictures, and so on. Data controller and processor. It's not always clear if the event organizer or the event app provider is the processor or controller. It depends on the situation. The controller is a person, organization, or other instance which determines the purposes and means of the processing of personal data. After that, the processor is responsible for processing the personal data on behalf of the controller. How does the GDPR affect your event app? As an event organizer or association, you need to remember that the GDPR focuses on the rights of individuals over companies. But what exactly does that mean for your event app? A great way to look at this is following the journey of an event app user. Consent. As soon as the user logs into the app or enters personal information, the GDPR comes into play. Whenever a form is presented to the user, he or she has to be informed about 1. What data will be collected, 2. For what purpose the data will be used, 3. If and with whom it may be shared, and 4. Which rights the user has under the GDPR. This information has to be clearly visible and cannot be hidden within fine print. The user has to give explicit consent to all the points, meaning he or she has to opt in to agree to those terms. This consent needs to be saved together with the information on how and when it was given. Data access, portability, and the right to be forgotten. The event app user has a right to access his or her private records at any time. The information needs to be provided within 30 days in a commonly used format. Furthermore, users can withdraw their consent at any time. Event app providers and event organizers must honor such requests, erase all records of the user, and stop sharing them with third parties like suppliers or venues. Data breaches. If a security breach occurs within the event data or event app, the app users and data protection authorities need to be notified within 72 hours of discovering the breach. Data breaches occur more often than most people think. During the first half of 2017, 1.9 billion data records were leaked or stolen. This is more data theft than during all of 2016. Mobile event apps are a must-have for events and a prime data collection point next to registration software. It is therefore important for you as an event planner to find out if your event app provider is meeting his obligations under the GDPR. We at Conference Compass take personal data seriously and guarantee all our clients our very best effort to be GDPR compliant. I highly recommend you to follow the link below and inform yourself about the steps that we have taken to make our apps and services GDPR ready. Contact us if you have any questions or if you're interested in your own event app.